Hey everyone, it's Greg on Hump Day. Another episode of Unbreakable. We've got a wacky show today. Wait till you hear some of the stories I've come up for you. Um, it is Wednesday, August the 30th. And the reason I'm playing Bad Moon Rising is because there is a bad moon rising today. Tonight, August 30th, will be a very rare occurrence in the heavens. Not only are we having the blue moon, which is a full moon that occurs twice in the same month, but we're having a super moon too. Super moon is when the moon gets really big and large, and it's the closest it is to Earth. So it appears huge in the sky. And not only that, on top of that, the planet Saturn is still going to be visible in our skies when if you go out around sunset today, look to the east, you're going to see a huge moon, the super moon and the blue moon together. And to the right of the moon, around 2 o'clock ish, like you're looking at the face of a clock, you'll see the planet Saturn. Now, you're going to have a telescope to see the rings around Saturn. Otherwise, you'll be able to see the planet, it'll look like a star in the sky. So it should be a rare occurrence. Oh, by the way, we're not going to see a super moon and a blue moon together for another 14 years. The year 2037 will be the next blue moon, super moon together. So get out there and see it. Couple things in the news today. I was wondering if you heard about this lady who tried to get she did get into a Chicago White Sox baseball game recently. The other day, there was news of gunshots going off at a White Sox game, and they couldn't figure out where the shots came from. Was it from in the park? Was it from outside the park? Luckily, only a few people were injured. But what happened was this. They finally tracked down the source of the gunfire. Inexplicably, a lady took concealed a gun into the White Sox game. Now, first of all the metal detectors and the security did not find the gun. Snuck it in for whatever reason into the Chicago White Sox game. Where did she hide the gun? In the folds. This is kind of disgusting. Of her belly. You heard me right. In her belly folds, she packed the pistol. That in itself is unbelievable. What happened was the gun went off accidentally. She shot herself in the leg, grazed her leg, and that's where the gunfire came from. Luckily, it wasn't an active shooter or any sort of thing like that going on in the ballpark or even outside of the ballpark. This is just a crazy story on many levels. And one thing, in one way, it's kind of funny. You should have read all the comments I read on Twitter. It's because this lady ate a lot of Big Macs, and it was the source of her concealment there, her folds, and just a lot of rude comments. To me, I'll be honest with you. When I heard about this, yeah, it was a little bit, wow, I couldn't believe it. That, first of all, somebody had the audacity to sneak a gun into a baseball game. Why? People were sticking up for it and saying how you've never been to the South Side of Chicago, but Why do you need a gun inside of the game? And I don't want to get into the Second Amendment stuff and people who have guns, and that's, you know, um, but why sneak it into a baseball game? I mean, what the hell is going on in our country? That's number one. Number two, some of the humorous comments about how she snuck it in. There could be worse places. She hid the gun, that kind of stuff. Uh, but then, it was sort of concerning because I don't know if you heard about this or not. The other night in Colorado, two fans rushed out of the stands and actually went up to Ronald Acuda Jr. in right field and started hugging the guy, uh, touching him, confronting him. And that's kind of scary because you don't know if these guys had a weapon on them, if they were going to hurt Acuda Jr. I mean, what's going on? Before in sports, it would just be booing. Sometimes people would throw stuff at the players, which is stupid. Um, now it's gotten to the point where the fans are are acting like it's the Roman Colosseum days. They're climbing the walls and they're going out in the fields and they're actually not not only interacting with the players but touching the players. It's stupid. You know what's going to happen, don't you? Pretty soon, there's going to be no accessibility to these athletes. You're gonna to have netting all over the field, not only to protect people from foul balls, but to protect the players from the fans. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So these two stories intermingle, right? You've got the lady bringing in a gun in her belly fat into the Chicago White Sox game and shooting herself. What the hell? And then you've got these two morons jumping on the field and trying to hug or whatever right on Kitty Jr. until the security ushered them away. I mean, to me, what they ought to do with these people is lock them up in jail and don't let them out for a long time. Teach people, you got to teach them a lesson so this doesn't happen again and again and again. Because our society is going cuckoo, cuckoo, just going nuts, Ah, ah. Anyway, speaking about hugging, this in a better instance. Did you hear about this? These two guys out in California have nothing better to do with their time. Decided to break the world record for hugs. How many hugs can you give another person in 1 minute? Now, what they decided to do was hug each other. And I mean, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to hug my wife or my girlfriend or somebody like that or a significant other. These guys didn't even know each other. So what they did was they tried to break the record, and they did. Okay, get this: 163 hugs in 1 minute. Now, if you break that down, you know how I suck at math. I hate math. That is what about 2.5 hugs per second. Okay, that's fine, but they ran the slow motion, like it's the NFL, the freaking NFL or something. And they took 10 hugs off of that total. So they only ended up with 153 because what these guys were supposed to do is after every hug, they need to drop their hands down to their sides and then start again and hug and drop their hands and start again and hug. Well, apparently they didn't do that. They just kept squeezing and squeezing and squeezing it on it. And so, but even with the redacted hugs there, they still ended up with 153 and they set the Guinness Book of World Records for most hugs in a minute. These guys need to get a knife. I love hugs. I just love hugs. Hugs, when you're depressed, you're not feeling well, you're sad. Hugs, just hugs do it for me. It's just so warm and comforting. And hugs can be intimate. Hugs can be friendship. Hugs are the best. You can even hug your dog, right? But would I break a record? I don't know. Anyway, one more story before I leave you today. This comes out of Australia. And this is a weird one because this lady was complaining of forgetfulness and depression for 3 months. Decided to go to the hospital and find out what's going on, right? That's okay. A year before that, she complained of abdomen pain, had a dry cough, and diarrhea. All right. Sometimes we all get the runs once in a while, you know. So what's so bad about that? Anyway, when her problems started becoming more worrisome, uh, she went to a neurologist, and the neurologist they decided to do a procedure. They were going to drill a hole in her skull and go into the brain area because they thought she was having seizures, and they were going to try to alleviate the seizures. Well, they did all kinds of MRIs, the CAT scans, brain scans, all kinds of shit. And they couldn't find out what was wrong with this lady. Here, and this was in Australia, the Cambria Hospital in Australia. So they did this procedure, and when they drilled the hole in her skull and looked into her brain, the doctor, the surgeon, got a pair of forceps and dipped into the brain and pulled out a 3-inch live wiggling worm, a verb. You hear me right. A verb was in her brain. This is really upsetting. I mean, to find out that you have a live worm in your brain there that may have traveled. They're thinking maybe it started in her stomach, something that she ate. You don't want to know how the worm got there. Trust me. I read about this shit and it is gross. And you might be eating breakfast right now, so don't even ask. Suffice to say, the worm got into her body, may have traveled. We're talking about a live worm here, 3 inches long. May have traveled all the way up to her brain and was making a home there, was settling in, so to speak, a little happy camper. Well, they extracted the worm and they put it in a little specimen bottle there, and that was that. And needless to say, her symptoms improved. Although interestingly enough, not totally. Either it's going to take a long time to get over the fact that you had a living worm in your brain, or this lady might be a hypochondriac and every little thing bothers her. Okay, one day I've got the runs, the next day I've got a worm living in my brain. I mean, what the hell? But the doctors who did this procedure, they wrote about this. They are the authors of an article in the Journal of Emerging Infectious Diseases. In fact, they called it a special doctor after they found this chick with the worm in her brain. Because, there's a really good chance of infection in there, among other things. Um, I've just had it with all these crazy stories that we're hearing. First, we hear about some lady bringing in a gun into the ballpark in her belly, hid it in her belly. And now we talk about some lady with a worm in her brain. Ay, ay, ay. I think we need to find some more normal, nicer stories here. But I'm here to entertain you and to keep your interest up. All right, well, that's enough of this. Um, Thanks for tuning in. And if you like the program, Unbreakable, just subscribe or like, and that way you won't miss an episode. You could find old episodes on YouTube under my channel, Unbreakable Spirits, or you can go to my website, gregoryjsmithauthor.com, and you can find all the old episodes you want to catch up on. Why you would want to do that, I don't know, but that's if you have a lot of time on your hands, rather than hugging someone 163 times in a minute, watch my show. I think it's better for you. I'm going to the ball game soon. It's my final game of the year, my final Phillies game of the year until the playoffs. And the Phillies are playing great. They are just playing great. They are not only beating teams, they're clobbering them. 5 home runs last night. So I'm going to the park, enjoy the Phillies game. The weather is clearing up. Might have a hot dog, although after this Wobe story, I may think twice about that. Anyway, everybody take care. Cranky. And I will see you tomorrow with more stuff. Bye for now.